you. I can't see the.
Oh God, it just yelled at me. All right, share screen.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Righto. Well,
Is it
this is.
recording?
Are you able to see my screen?
Yep. Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, this is my performance evaluation with its variations. So they were on the left. You have my 4 objectives from my original module 1, part 1. Objective 1 being complete 2 modules a month, and then my 3 tasks that I'll do to do that. And the second objective being document each module in textbook as if I wrote it down and wrote notes about how I perform, what I could do wrong, how I could do better. Objective 3 was to create a study routine. This is like the outline days of the week where I feel I can fit in necessary amount of time. So I've write a weekly report and find where study periods can fit best. And then objective 4 was to liaise with coaches and students. My evaluation for objective 1 was only 1 module was completed in the 2 months. This was because of time management and how long a module actually took to complete. I underestimated how long a module really did take to complete, to be honest. Yeah, I thought I could get it done, but I ended up staying up a few nights, extra, probably 2-3 hours, just critiquing work and whatnot. So obviously I didn't prepare for that. Evaluation objective 2 with the documenting was I did take notes down in module 2 and module 3, sorry. I am documenting these to have like a handy billy for when I go into my career. So that, like in case that you forget anything when you start your career as a PT, you can look back on this course that we've done and have the information relevant to you at the time. My evaluation on objective 3 for my feedback, a study routine was created, but because of my current job, I was traveling all around Australia the past couple of weeks, and I really had to fit this in where I could instead of following a routine, which was not ideal. And objective 4 on feedback was I never ended up calling my coaches, but I did, however, message them over a dozen times regarding feedback. So then we'll come to the variations list about what I thought I could do with my variations. For objective 1, the original objective was to complete 2 modules a month. I've now changed this to complete 1 module a month and 1 side module. And my original contingency was refer to a study plan and reorganise times for study periods where they can be found. The variations come with time management and adaptability. Since I handed in module 1, part 1 in July, I've only managed to complete module 2 and module 3, as well as a few similar ones with like feeling fat loss and whatnot. This was obviously due to ill restraints while working my current job. And then I can come to what my new variation is. My new variation is to complete 1 module and one side module per month. This lines up the course due dates and aids with progression to finishing this course. I'll continue to utilise my other 3 objectives and to work towards my academic work plan. My contingency plan will remain the same. However, I will still refer to my study plan and reorganise times as I can be found, like anything else. The second variation was to create a study routine. So the original contingency was delegate spare weekends to fit in additional study periods if they were missed throughout the week. This variation I've made was originally due to poor time management, which was a risk I did identify in the original work plan. My original objective was to create 3 study sessions a week of 1 hour. This was not enough time for me to allow me to progress through the course, however, and I found myself falling behind. My variation for this objective is to increase the time allocated to study sessions. When I create a weekly plan, I'll dedicate Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday as my study days, and I will study for 90 minutes instead of 60. This allows an additional 90 minutes of study per week. I believe this will be enough time to progress through each module without setbacks. My new contingency plan, however, will be delegate spare afternoon. So instead of if the Tuesday, Thursday, and Sundays don't work out, I can find the other days to work instead. Cool, Geordie. That is my 2 variations. Do you think you have any notes that you can?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep it here. With your first variation, with how you've said that it lines up with due dates and all that kind of stuff, I think it's more so instead of putting a exact amount of stuff that obviously with your job and your work and everything that you're doing outside of this study, it's kind of all over the place. So you don't have standardized like stuff that you can plan and say like in 3 months' time I'm going to be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's more so planning ahead and looking at when certain modules are due and just making sure that you're working towards those exact modules.
Okay.
But then using with your second variation, using that with that same idea. I don't think it's an idea of 90-minute sessions.
Okay.
I think it's more that you need to have chapters within those modules that you need to complete. So say you've watched the first video and it's revised the chapters of what you have to go through for that exact module.
Yeah.
And there's 6 chapters and you have to film 2 videos within that. I think it's more so planning that you have your videos organized and who you're going to film that with. So you have that stuff set in stone, that you have dates that you're going to film stuff. And then the rest is using your time through the rest of the week that each study session you're completing a chapter rather than it being an amount of time. Because what I've learned through this as well is that it kind of giving yourself an allocated time doesn't really work, because it feels like you're always undermining the amount of work that goes into things, because some modules are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit less. So if you're allowing what does that work out to now, 4.5 hours of
Yeah.
study per week, that in the long term is probably not going to be enough for bigger modules, but for your smaller modules, it will be like too much time. So I
Yeah.
think it's more utilizing your time when you have time. And then when you have bigger things that you have to allocate time to, is just being more planned and organized for the particular chapters that and tasks that you have to do within those chapters. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So instead of allocating time periods, instead allocate time, not time necessary, but allocate chapter reading, as in if there was a module of 6, you want to complete the first 2 chapters instead of looking at it, complete the first 90 minutes. It does
Yeah.
make sense. Definitely, that probably was what I was leaning on towards the end of the last course, was just how many chapters can I smash out. I'll probably try
Yeah.
2 chapters a day, or 2 chapters every 3 nights, and that will get me done in a week, say, and then you work on from there. Plan, and then you also said plan ahead with your videos. So
Yeah.
when you have your
Because
video,
if you're working it out to like 1 month, like each month to finish a module, if you broke that down to chapters, you probably would be finishing it about that time. But rather than it being a time-based
yeah,
structure, having it like a task completion based structure, if
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah, cool. I'm very happy with all that.
Yeah, cool.
All right, cool. Thanks,
All right,
actually.
sweet.
All right.
Beautiful. Let's
Stop share. And then